Why would Shohei Ohtani defer $680 million for 10 years, assuming a conservative discount rate of 5%, the current price of a treasury bill? $680 million 10 years from now would be worth about $417 million in today's dollars. Assuming a more aggressive rate of 12%, the average annual return on the S&P 500, and a reasonable proxy for the opportunity cost he's incurring, $680 million 10 years from now would be worth about $219 million in today's dollars. I know baseball isn't your primary sport, Ben, but this decision strikes me as madness. Is there some larger business reason to do this? Baseball has a similar problem as basketball: too much inventory, not enough events, reliant on RSN revenue. Is this something you think we'll see more of in other sports? So what do you think? Do you have a 90-second explanation for what the hell happened with Shohei Ohtani?
I have a 90-minute explanation. 90 seconds is the challenge here. All right. So number one, all the reporting about this is insane. This is so one of the bits is like, it was like, oh, the Dodgers have a loophole. It's only being like, baseball is like a competitive balance cap, some sort of thing, which you can exceed. There's big penalties if you do. And it's only being counted against the cap as $46 million. That is correct. That's because it's only worth $46 million. So I think they're using some discount rate that is broadly based on treasuries. I think the 10-year treasury is actually closer to like 4.1 or 4.2%, which is correct. That would, like, anyone who's studied finance understands this. You have to discount the money. In this case, they're using the risk-free rate, which is U.S. treasuries. It's assumed that, this is the whole thing about like when the U.S., like when they have these financial crises, people miss the potential chaos that could theoretically result because all financial calculations assume that U.S. treasuries will always be good is a whole other sort of wild thing. But
I don't want to think about it. That's 900 minutes and a very serious podcast.
So based on that, it is counts against this cap as $46 million. And that's not a loophole. That is what it is actually worth. So number one, $46 million, which is a totally reasonable contract. The highest contract before now was Max Scherzer for $43 million. $3 million more for Shohei Ohtani, who is a very good pitcher and a phenomenal hitter. Feels like a deal, to be honest. If they announced a deal for 10 years, $460 million, no one would bat an eye. So that's the way you should think about this deal. In that context, what Ohtani is doing seems insane to me. Like,
why did he take it is the question.
Right. So yes, Jonathan is exactly right. Using the risk-free rate is nuts, right? Because any sort of reasonable financial advisor that, could properly sort of hedge your risks and stuff could certainly generate a better return than that, particularly over 10 years, which you have time to recover from any downturns or sort of whatever it might be. So yes, I think Ohtani is giving up a ton of money. I don't understand why he's doing it. Some of the arguments are, he wants to get a tax break because California has 13% and he won't be taxed until he actually gets paid. That's possible, but where's he going to go? If he goes to Japan has a marginal tax rate of 45%, which is so 45% relative to like whatever the US rate, 35, 38% plus 13%. It's not that much different. And so that,
so you heard it here first on Sharp Tech. Shohei Ohtani is going to be relocating to Monaco.
Monaco is the place to go. The reason why athletes all go to Monaco is you are only taxed on income you make in Monaco. So that's why every professional athlete lives in Monaco, because when they play a golf tournament or a Wimbledon in London, they don't pay any income taxes. They only pay it sort of like, and so yes, Monaco is the place to go. It takes 5 years residency to acquire citizenship. I've looked into it. I'm not going to Monaco anytime soon, but
we're not quite on Ohtani level yet.
No, these are all very interesting questions. So if he wants to retire to Monaco, then you can see the payoff here, but I feel like he could get that 30% back and more if he would just invest the money and sort of start sort of accruing the return. So I don't understand. I think this is an unbelievable deal for the Dodgers. I think Ohtani is kind of nuts. There's been, so he's making a big interest rate bet, inflation bet, that you're not going to get sort of huge amounts of inflation over the next 10 years. He's making a bet on that the Dodgers aren't going to go bankrupt or sort of whatever sort of might happen with the RSN stuff. He does make a ton of endorsement money, and I'm sure he's genuine that he wants the Dodgers to have financial freedom to get other players. But if I were his advisor, I would have argued strenuously against this. It's not worth the $700 million headline to be putting this much at risk with no upside. You are taking on risk and foregoing upside. It's nuts.
Right. Well, that's a good comprehensive answer. I got to be honest with you. I haven't spent 15 seconds thinking about Shohei Ohtani this week. What's the Chamath quote? The below my line, Shohei, and all of baseball is below my line. I apologize, but congrats to Dodgers fans out there in the audience.
The funniest thing is people getting so upset about this quote unquote loophole. And it's like, no, you have it all backwards.
The loophole is a player with a terrible agent, maybe?
No, the loophole is that the Dodgers are only being charged $46 million against this sort of cap for this fee. And it's like, that's not a loophole. That's the actual fact. The $700 million, that's the fiction.